everyone, it's Gina from Gina K Designs and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. Today we're going to have so much fun because we're going to be doing some two-step poinsettia stamping. And I'd like to welcome all of you coming in from all around the United States and around the world. It's exciting to see all of you here. I was just in the comments reading all your comments, and it's Thursday. We're ready for a crafternoon of fun, and it sounds like everybody in the comments is excited to be here, so we're excited to have you. Before we get started with today's project, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, a trip to the dead space.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
I like that cream sweater.
Is it cream?
Yeah, cream or white. Looks good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. You bought it for me, I think.
I did not.
Yeah, well, somebody did. Uh-oh. Yeah. So, crafternoon, you're doing more not to disappoint poinsettias today?
Yeah, not to disappoint poinsettias. That's the plan. Anyway, we're going to be doing the two-step poinsettia. A lot of people were asking how easy this is to line up, so I thought today would be a great day to show people how to do it, and then we could also make a card and a tag. What do you think?
Okay.
All right.
It's time to get out of the way.
Okay. All right. Well, today we're going to use, now this was a kit. This was the Perfect Poinsettia kit. But now we're going to be putting this stamp set and die set into our regular inventory very soon, because I know a lot of you just want the stamps and dies. So we are going to do that. I'll talk to Sammy today and see if we can't get this in maybe later this afternoon. I have to design some pictures for her, and then she'll be able to do that. But if you still like the idea of a kit, the kit is still available, but it's very limited. And this kit was a great kit. It is a great kit. It has this large poinsettia stamp set. It's a 6x8. It's got a die, a big die, huge die that cuts out this whole flower. And then it's also got that layering poinsettia stencil that I've used several times. It's got our poinsettia ephemera, and it's got beautiful poinsettia papers in there. I think I have a picture of it. It's also got, some sentiment strips too. So if you want to go to the overhead, this is what everything that's in that kit. You even get a small blending brush to try, and it is a great value. So if you're thinking about it, this is very, very limited. Might be a good one for you to get. And it's great for these last minute tags and projects because this ephemera makes super quick cards. All right, so let's talk about two-step stamping. So this is the stamp set. I'm going to put a piece of paper under it so you guys can see it. And mine is very stained because it's very well loved. I have made lots of cards with this one already. And most of the cards that I made, I did the more traditional red poinsettia. And I'll show you a card that I made with it. This was one of my 5-minute card videos. And I did a little bit of pencil coloring on this one after I did the two-step stamping. Yes, I did. Rena did my nails last night. So I'm trying to work with them. They're a little long for me, but and she said, let's just do a neutral color, Mom, so we don't distract anybody. So yes, it's very fun. So this is one that I did in my 5-minute card videos. If you head over to YouTube and you click on the 5-minute card video series, I have a playlist, you'll find this one, and it is an easy card to make. I thought today, instead of doing reds, we could do some turquoise poinsettias. I thought we could go outside of the box, but you will see my poinsettias are stained red. That's just what happens to red sometimes, and it's not a big deal. They will work perfectly fine. Now, I want to show you a little technique here. So I'm going to use a piece of cardstock in the MISTI, and I'll tell you, with this stamp set, I absolutely 1000% recommend using a MISTI with this poinsettia. This is a huge, bold image, solid image, and you're going to need to stamp it more than once to get it nice and crisp. So let's start with the big one here. I just want to show you a little technique with this, and then we'll actually get into making the card. So I'm going to pick this poinsettia up, and I want to make sure that my cardstock is right in the corner there. And then I'm going to use some Turquoise Sea ink. Now, if you want kind of a linen look, you can actually pick up the little bit of texture that is in this poinsettia, which has a little bit of a linen texture to it. Just by stamping it 1 or 2 times, it'll look a little bit like linen. It'll be very shady. It won't be super solid, but I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I'm going to stamp that. It doesn't look like there's any turquoise on there at all, does it? But this is actually a very pretty look. And you can see it's very kind of speckly, and it's got that linen pattern in there. Now, if you want it more solid, give it a second stamping, and you'll get it nice and solid. Sometimes I like to even do 3 stampings when I'm working with something this big. But you can see it's a lot more solid now. And I'm going to do 1 more just to really make it super solid. And remember, our ink has a smoothing agent in it, so once it dries, it'll look a lot more airbrushed. Okay. So 3 stampings gives you that nice solid image. Now, what I'd like to do with this is I would like to add a little bit of dark color around the edges. Okay. So I'm going to use a blending brush for that. I've got my Turquoise Sea blending brush. And let me get my ink stand here. Make sure there's no dyes stuck to it anywhere. That's where I found my snowman dye. Oh my gosh, you guys. It took forever to find that. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to ink up the edges of this using a blending brush. Okay, no updates on the Chucky tool yet, Peggy. All right, so I'm going to take this blending brush. Now, you could use the small blending brush, too, that comes in the kit. Basically, you're going to kind of edge. You see how I created an edge on there? Let's take a look at the small blending brush. This is the one that actually comes in the kit with this stamp set. So you can see you can do some really nice edging on there. All right, we'll do a little more over here. Yeah, I see that. And then you can just work it in a little bit just to kind of outline this a bit. And what's nice about using the Misty for this is if you want more edging, you can add a little bit more if it doesn't look like enough for you. Go back over there. I think I'm going to end up doing more than 1 coat. But let's just take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to go around there. You see how that just gives that pretty edge? Love that look. So this is a way to make like a 2-step stamp, a 3-step stamp. If you want, you can also add a little bit of edging from the inside. Like that. Put a little bit of that in there. So you can see I'm getting lots of beautiful depth on that stamp. Okay, so that is just a little technique I wanted to show you. Isn't that pretty? Let's see if I can give you a little bit more here. No, it's a different color. I'm sorry, I should have said that. I used Turquoise Sea for the main color, and then I used Tranquil Teal. So this is darker. Okay, so I wanted to show you that, but that is not the best way to stamp this poinsettia as far as like what order we're going to do it in. We definitely want to do this in the right order because there's no way you'd ever be able to fill in a line art image without seeing the line first. So I just wanted to show that to you because I just think that that is so pretty. You see an angel in here, Charlene? That's cool. That is cool. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start with the first step. But I just wanted to show you what that looked like because it might not be as obvious as it is when you just see it with the solid image. It might be a little less obvious once you stamp it over the line art image. So let me pull this sheet off. I hope I don't lose it. I lose everything else on my desk. All right, so we're going to start with the large line art image. And I'm going to do the whole image, even though we might cut some of it off when we do the card. We might. We'll see. Okay. Now I'm going to pick this up with the Misty. Hi, Brianne. I'm going to get some of your black ink stands. I'm really excited for those because I just decided today I'm buying myself a black Misty for Christmas, and then I'm going to get the black ink stands to go with it. I'm very excited. All right, so now I'm going to ink this up with black Onyx ink. And again, I'm going to do this more than one time because I really want the image to be dark. Okay. There we go. Let me give it another stamping. It's such a big image that I think that, and I also don't want to over squish it, you know, by just stamping it too hard and ruining all the delicateness of it. It's almost better to stamp it 2 or 3 times to increase the blackness than to press too hard and squish the design and distort it. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now we've got a nice dark image there that we can work on our second step. So let's clean this up. I probably should have stamped 2 because I'm going to make 2 projects today, but we'll just start the second one later because I know there's going to be a bunch of people that come in as the live is going on and they get to see the whole thing from scratch as well. All right, so we'll start with this big image. So what I want to do is I want to lay this on top, and I recommend that you get your head like right over the whole thing so that you can see where you're putting it. And it's kind of like the lines just disappear around the edge. Not completely, but when you get it in a pretty good spot. Now, I got red all over this thing, so there we go. I think that's a good spot. All right. So now I'm going to pick that up. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty good. It's going to look pretty good. If you want to test it first, you can always put your index sheet, the sheet that you pull off the stamp set first, and you can stamp it to see how it looks. So we could do that. We'll give it a little, not black, we'll give it a little Turquoise Sea and see if it looks pretty good. So I'll start with Turquoise Sea, and then I'm going to add some of that dimension. So let's just take a look at how it looks. See, that looks good to me. I think it's right spot on. So I'm going to just clean that and then get rid of that sheet. This one is just one of the easier 2-step stamps to line up. They're not always this easy, but this stamp was designed by Argita, and she just did a great job of making it easy to 2-step stamp. All right, so we're going to do our first layer. Get that in there. Yeah, that looks good. You see that linen texture? Let me zoom in so you can see. It's beautiful, that texture. I don't know if you can see that, but that is just such a neat thing. I love, sometimes I want it to look like that, just have that little bit of texture, but I'm going to stamp it a couple times here to get rid of the texture. And the ink, because it's dye ink, it will spread out a little bit, so it won't look quite so textured anyway. Here we go. That's the second coat, and we'll do one more. Okay. All right. Now, if you ever have a little area that's not stamping totally perfect, all you have to do is get a little blending stump, put a little bit of ink on the blending stump, and just kind of blend that in a little bit, and that little spot will go away. And once it dries, it all dries up to the same color. So I always keep an extra blending stump or two around for the purpose of filling in any solid stamp images that don't completely transfer. I mean, it happens sometimes. Okay, so now we're going to add that darker color. So I have the Tranquil Teal all loaded up into my ink stand, and I'm going to use that small blending brush again. And I'm going to ink that up. Didn't move the stamp, right? And now I'm just going to add that little bit of outline there, right around the edge. And we'll see how it looks without like a lot. Might just be just enough. Nice light touch. You do it the way you want. If you like the heavier touch, I'm going to do a little bit in the center too. If you like the heavier touch, go for it. Okay. Can you see it kind of glowing a little bit in the middle now? Like that. I'm going to add a little more because, you know, I can't leave well enough alone. Maybe just a little. I'll probably blend it a little better too if you do it more than once. All right. So now it makes it look like you know, are a Copic marker expert there. Okay. So there's my first flower. Now it's time to do the second flower. So I'm going to get that one, and hopefully my lining up skills will prevail today. What did you call this flower, Tom?
That would be not to disappoint Seta.
I'm doing my best. That's so funny. All right. So I think, sorry, my head is like right in the way. Can you see what I'm doing with my, can you see what I'm doing? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. All right. That looks pretty good. We'll see. And again, if you want to test it, you can always test it by using that little piece of acetate, sticking it on there. You got to make sure, though, that your cardstock stays in the right spot or it's not going to look right. And then I'll give it a little bit of Turquoise Sea ink just to check. Yes, that looks good. It's really super pale here because it's on acetate. So, but this tip is a good tip for those of you that, you know, really like to test things out before you go for it. And I don't blame you. Especially when you nail one, you're like, oh, I'm going to check the second one, make sure it's good. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks. My hair looks great. Okay. Question. What two red colors would you use for the poinsettia? I would probably use like Red Hot and maybe a little faded brick around the edges. All right. So now we've got the linen texture there. Go over it again. And we'll do one more. I do like the texture. Some people put a lot of time and energy using a Copic blender pen to get that kind of texture. Okay. So now I'm going to go around the edges of this one. It's really not that hard to line it up. I know it. You would think it is, but it's not. You'll be so surprised with this one. What other colors do I enjoy using? Well, I love any of our color companions ink, like the orchids, the lilacs, the carnations. Any of those are beautiful with this. But I haven't done a turquoise flower in a while, so I thought I would give it a try today. All right, so again, I'm going to edge this.
And what cardstock, what weight cardstock do you use?
I use the layering weight.
For the card base.
Oh, for the card base? Well, we're out of our heavy base weight right now. So I would say, you know, you can use our layering weight and then maybe just do a panel on the inside for your greeting, like a little extra just to thicken it up. but normally I would use our heavy base weight. But that is, believe it or not, our mill can't make it until February. So we're going to be out of it for a little while. Okay, so you can see that came out really nice. So I'm going to go just a little darker around the edge. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the glow on that one too. Welcome everyone. It's great to see all of you here. We're having a fun crafternoon. All right, so now we're going to start with our leaves. So the leaves, I thought a couple of good color combinations would be jelly bean green and fresh asparagus. They're great colors together. But I also thought the medium and dark spruce would look really pretty together. So I think I'm going to save the spruces for when I do the tag one, which will be after this, because I've got this, I had this old roll of twine, and I think it looks a little better with the spruces than it does with the jelly bean. So I'll do the jelly bean on this card. So this stamp, okay, so this is crazy, but same thing. It's going to fit in here just right. I promise. So I start at the top looking, and when I get that in the right spot, then I move down and look around everywhere else. And again, if this one's sticking to me, so I get it in the right position, then I try to pull my hand away and it's not letting me. So I'm going to look straight down over it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, I'm taking my chances. And if it's not perfect, it'll be, I don't know. I'm going to go up just a little bit. I'll probably be sorry, but it'll be better than horrible. Should I check it? Would you all feel better if I check it? I think I'll feel better if I check it. So I have the acetate sheet here. I'll check it with a little jelly bean. Just see how it looks. It's a lot going on there. Oh, yep, nailed it. Okay, so let's get rid of that, and I will clean that again. Okay, so we'll do the jelly bean next. And I'm going to do a couple coats of the jelly bean. Isn't that pretty? Fills right in there. Yeah, I think this is just an easy way to create a lot of depth without worrying about colored pencils and Gamsol and Copic markers. You just get that extra little bit of depth in there. Okay. So, and it looks great just plain. If you don't want to do the second step, you don't have to do it. It just gives it a little bit of something extra if you want to do it. Okay, so I have not made a white poinsettia, but I have made a gray one, and that kind of feels like it might be white. You could probably use some pigment ink with it if you stamped it on craft. You could do the leaves first, Pamela, if you want. Sure. Whatever way you like to do it. So I'm going to add a little bit of this. Okay. And we'll see how that looks. Oh, I like that. Let's add a little more, shall we? I'm going to add more from the bottom. Okay, here we go. So you can see that little extra darkness. Okay. All right, so let's do the final piece down here, and then we'll turn this one into a card. Alrighty. Now, I could have done 2 at once, and here's my recommendation. If you want to mass produce a card like this, stamp all, like set up your big stamp in the MISTI and do each one, like do 10 of them. Then go back and put your flower on there and stamp all those parts with each one. Same thing over and over again until you've got all of your cards done. All right. Okay, this one, getting it right in the space there. You know I'm going to check this one. I'm going to have to. Okay. I'll get my acetate until it's dry. And we'll just stamp it with a little jelly bean. Oh, that looks good too. See, it's not that hard. And I'm telling you, I'm not like great at it or anything. I'm really not. I struggle with certain things when it comes to this. But this one is it's just kind of easy to see. Okay. Alrighty. Looking good. Alrighty. Let's get the next layer. And then we'll do that final layer. And again, I have a tiny little spot there that didn't stamp all the way. That just happens sometimes with these big stamps, but easily fixed by taking my jelly bean green pad, a little bit of blending stump ink, and just filling that in. There we go. And once that dries up, it'll all look exactly the same. Okay. So now, I'm going to leave this the same way. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it on the MISTI, and I'm going to add a little bit of dark around the edges. Okay. There we go. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, I feel a little more secure with the acetate sheet myself. All right. It was a little blotchy there, but it's better than horrible. I can admit to myself that it doesn't look that great there, but it's all right. Okay. Okay. So there we go. Now it's time to turn this one into a card. Now, some people like to color the little things on the inside yellow. I don't know what they're called, the stamen maybe. And you could do that a lot of different ways. You could use a yellow pencil, or you could grab a Copic marker if you want. I'll do that. I'll just use this yellow marker here. And I'll just give these, and it's fine to do it right over the green. It'll just brighten up the green a little bit. If you don't want these to stamp green, you could put a little piece of tape over them so that they won't get inked up. But I don't really mind. Again, I don't know a lot of blue poinsettias, so my poinsettia is whimsical anyway. And I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's turn this into a quick card. Now, I love this layout that I did on the other card. I'm going to do something very similar, but I think I'll use a different stencil this time. So let's cut this flower out first. Now, I haven't done this technique in a while, and I'm going to show it to you again, just because I know we always have a lot of new people watching. So if you haven't seen this technique before, this is a great way to perfectly center your dies. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to pick something that is now discontinued, unfortunately. So I don't really make too many cards with it anymore because it's a discontinued color. This is our Dusty Rose. And then I'm going to cut it out. I can't pick these up with my nails. I can't pick the die up. So I'm going to cut this out using this piece of cardstock. You can use any piece of cardstock. Okay. I think we forget to do it. I forget to do this sometimes. And I'm like, oh yeah, why am I struggling so much? So if you want to keep this for something else, you certainly can. But I'm going to use this. So to really secure everything, I'm going to tape this down. I just feel like I did a lot of work here to not cut it out well, you know? And so I'd rather cut it out well and not stress. So I'm taping that on there so it doesn't shift. And now I'm going to lay this on top and make sure that I've got a really good edge around there. And I think that looks pretty good because you can see the edge. Okay. So I am going to tape that. There isn't a similar color to Dusty Rose anymore. I mean, the closest that we have would be Innocent Pink and Bubblegum Pink. Innocent is probably a little bit closer because Dusty Rose has a little bit of a more peachy feel to it, I guess. Yeah, we're having trouble getting cardstock. Cardstock has been an issue. Now I'm going to pop this into the open hole, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it catch. And once you feel it catch, then tape that down as well. Oh, the yellow centers are the flower and the rest are all the leaves? Interesting. Yes, my poinsettia knowledge is not what it should be, I guess. Okay, and now I'm going to cut that out. And it should cut out in the right spot. It's hard for me not to think of the pretty color part to being the flower. All right, so that cut out pretty well. And that's going to go on my card. So I'll put that aside, and now we'll turn this one into a card, and then we'll make our tag. I'm going to save this because I'm going to use it a second time to cut out my second one. This piece can go. Alrighty. Let me put this down. Try not to break my nails. And if you get any pink along the edge from that color, you know, whatever color cardstock, just pick that off. You see, you get a little bit of stuff around the edge. Okay. So now let's get this piece of paper here. I'm going to do a fancy edge here. So I think I'll use Master Layouts 2. Did I take that out already? No, I don't think I did. I put it away from our last video. Oh, our last video was so fun. I had so much fun on that live, making those scrap cards. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check out that video too. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm just taking a plain piece of white cardstock and I'm going to cut that out using Master Layouts 2. I'm going to use the stitch die. And if your dies do warp a little bit, don't worry about it because plates warp, everything warps. They're easily straightened out just by taking the two corners and just doing a light bend. Don't overbend, just a light bend, and it'll get nice and flat again. Okay. That just happens to these big open dies. Oh, I'm on the paper, so the machine's slipping. Okay. So, here we go. Let me clean that off. So I have my stitched edge, and now I will cut one out of the plain edge in black. I know, it's a shocker, right? Me using black. We do have a bunch of black cardstock coming in now. I was so happy to see that the mill was able to produce that. When they produce our colors, they have to completely wash all of the machines. It's really a huge process. They have to completely wash everything because any little bit of anything that was left from the color before can taint the color that they're making. So they do a lot of colors. Where did that go? Here it is. They do a lot of colors that are similar around the same time. So they might do like red velvet and red hot and cherry red. Well, that's great, but then we have all reds, and then, you know, it might take them another month or 2 months to get to all the greens like fresh asparagus and jelly beans. So it is a process. Okay, so I have a couple of stencil options here. I thought I've been using the Harvest Flourish a lot, and I think that's a really pretty one, but one that I haven't used lately is the Festive stencil. And I like this one. It has a very Christmassy feel to it. In fact, I feel like this almost looks like a Christmas ball in here. If you could see that now, you probably can now, right? You can see that. So I think I'll use this one just because it feels very festive. It's called Festive. See, Festive. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to get my black blending brush. Where is that? Oh, here it is. And I've cleaned this blending brush off quite a bit because I've been using it with soft stone. I almost said soft sky, and we have a stormy sky and a soft stone, so you wouldn't know what to pick, right? I'll get you all confused and start blending the colors together. Let's see here. Where did my... Okay, here it is. I'm just going to start asking you guys because you seem to see things on the table really well. Oh my gosh, nails. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to do a little loop like that. And I'm just going to put this on the back of this so it doesn't shift. Now, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't do it. It's totally up to you if you don't want things to shift. If you're a shifter, then do it. And then we'll tape that down. Now I don't have to worry. So I'm going to use the soft stone. Okay, and I'm going to work my way around this way. So I'm going to start right in the center. And then I'm going to work my way down and work my way up. So this way, I'm not going all the way to the edge, but I'm just giving it a mist of texture, really, without having texture. So you can see what that looks like. Isn't that pretty? It's just enough. Yeah, this came out years ago. We've had this stencil for a long time. I think it was in one of our card kits originally. Yeah, it is easy to bend if you're not careful, although there aren't too many flaps sticking out. There's a few. So yes, you're correct. Definitely take care when you're cleaning it. Sometimes if I have a stencil that's super delicate, I'll just take it to the sink and rinse it and then just lay it on a paper towel and blot it dry. This way I'm not rubbing on it. All right, so that's good. Now I'll put this here on the black panel. It does kind of have a bokeh look. You're right, Teresa. All right, we'll get that on there. Looking good. Now for the card base color, because I thought that will go a little off like that. I love that. Isn't that pretty? And then we can add a greeting up here. So we could add one of the greetings from this. We could do Happy Holiday. We could do Wishing You Joy. We could do a warm hello. Or we could do something completely different from another stamp set. Let's see what I have laying around here. I have so many things laying around. I don't know that I have a lot of Christmas sets laying around, and I don't know why. Oh, I do, actually. I have all the Christmas stamps that I was using I just have to look here. I'll use one from this set. Let's keep it consistent. This way, if somebody wants this, they feel like they can make everything just with this set. All right, big paper cutter up here. I'm going to, well, what color should we use for the card base? I feel like white because we've got so much color in here, but we could use Ocean Mist, which would be very pretty, although it might take away from some of the blue. I don't think I have any, I don't have any soft stone. That would have been a good color to use. I kind of feel like white might be good, but can you scroll down, Tom? I want to see what they're thinking. Let's see. Oh, people are saying white. Okay, yeah, I agree. White might be the ticket. All right, let me get some white. Get some white here, because there is a lot of color in that flower, and you really don't want to take away from the color. I'm nervous about stamping the greeting. Do you guys get that, like, anxiety after you've created this card? If you do the greeting last, I probably should do the greeting first. Okay, so we're gonna score that at 5.5. Yeah, I don't have any soft stone. I know you guys like that idea, but I don't have any cardstock. We're out of it. Okay. I always love that nice bright border. And then this going off the edge like that really looks pretty. Okay. All right, so let's start with stamping the greeting, shall we? Let's get the Misty in on the action. And I think I'm going to just do a warm hello. We'll make this a small greeting. I think it's going to fit better. So in order for me to know where to put the greeting, I do have to have the flower in the action here. So I'm going to assume that the flower is going to sit like that, because you want to make sure you have enough room. And we could put that a warm hello in there. I kind of like this small greeting with this big, bold stamp. I feel like it's a nice contrast. But you know I'm not going to be comfortable about whether or not this is straight unless I test it. So I will test it. Let's get this out of here. Last thing I need to do is have this slip under there, right? All right, we'll grab this sheet again, and we'll put it on top. And this way we can, you do have to make sure that your card is straight though under there. And then we'll stamp it and see how it looks. Sherry, bring it over. I need some soft stone. I'm all out. I was really into that color. I feel like that's not very straight. I feel like it's going downhill a bit. So I'm going to reposition it. But I do need this on here. It's kind of nice putting it onto the acetate because it sticks to that. So when you let go, it doesn't move. Maybe that's a little tip. Put a piece of acetate down when you position your stamp. Ooh. We're going to check it. I don't know. Does that look straight? I feel like it's still crooked. All right, we'll go for it. We'll see, because maybe it's just me not being able to see it fully. We can always put a greeting over it if we have to.
Optical delusion.
Yeah. Tom, you're doing words of the day without even like a formal word of the day thing here.
All right. Well, I do have a formal word of the day.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Has to do with the specific part of the brain that lights up when you're in the process of crafting and stamping and stenciling and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yes. It is called the hippocampus. The hippocampus l'aimant toujours.
Oh my goodness. I do not have, I just saw a great question. Do you have an acetate grid sheet? And I think we should design one, Tom. That is a great idea. That is a really good idea because we don't have anything like that in our collection. And I think that would be really helpful. But I think this looks pretty good. Pretty straight enough. Better than horrible. I should zoom in so that you can see that it's better than horrible. Hippocampus. Okay, so we've got that there, like that. Pretty good, better than horrible. And we could pop this up. Let me get rid of the little bit of pink that's on there. We could pop that up. I like to wrap that around there. I think that looks really pretty wrapped around. I think I'm just going to put it right on the card. Oh, look at my little yellow flowery things. Okay. So put that right wrapped around like that. Okay. And that's a quick and easy card. You could be done with that, throw it in the mail, ready to go. Or we can add a few little rhinestones to it or little sequins. I cannot believe how long this card took me. I'm going to make the next one in record time here, Tom.
Yes, you are.
And you know what I did? I left my Connect glue out all night open. Actually, for 2 days. So I am struggling to pull the little bit of glue out. Can you see it coming out of the thing there? Okay. There we go. Okay. So we'll just do like a little rhinestone there or sequin there. One here. Maybe one over here. We'll just do 3 for now so that I can try to get this tag in. Let's do disco ball. So we'll put one there. We'll do a tiny one in here. And then should we do a big one there? Yeah. Okay, so I have all 3 sizes of sequins on there just to give it a little bit of bling. And that'll be my first card. Now, I'm going to make a fast tag, and I think I will use a different color combination than the blues. I think. Oh, I love the blues, though. This whole thing could be blue. So we're going to start. If you just joined us, I've got just 10 minutes to make my final card. So what we're going to do is, took 50 minutes to make the first one, 10 minutes to make the second one. I can do it. I know I can. All right, so I'm going to stamp this 3 times because it is a delicate image and I want it to be very black, but I don't want to squish it and distort it. So I'm doing it lightly. I need to re-ink my black Onyx. I think it's finally time. Takes me a while. I have ink pads that I started with, and we've had ink pads for, I think, close to 10 years now. And I have ink pads that I still haven't re-inked once. But the ones that I use a lot, I think I'm going to have to start to work on. And black I use all the time. Okay, so now we're going to position these layering stamps. Let's pick a different color set. What do you think, Tom? Should we do some light, some medium and dark orchid for this one? These colors?
Yes.
All right, let's do that. So again, my stamp is very, very stained. And I'm going to take some chances here and not test first on the acetate sheet. And we'll see how good I did. Sorry, I got to just move this a tiny hair. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with the medium orchid. This is just such a beautiful, vibrant color. Okay, wish me luck. Going in. Yes. All right. Now we're going to do it a second time. I love the texture on that. Okay. I know I could have stamped them at the same time, Rebecca. But, you know, I'm just so afraid that I'll get one positioned and then, I don't know. You're right. I probably should have done that. See, I could have checked this one too, because it's just a tiny bit off, but that's all right. Okay. Now we're going to add a little bit of dark to that. So I'm going to find an orchid brush, and I have one right here. It's a baby brush. So I'm going to add a little bit of dark orchid to the edges. Add a little bit. Oh yeah, this color, these colors, these orchids are amazing. I don't know if you guys got them when they were on sale on Black Friday weekend, but wow, what a deal. We had the 3-packs on sale for half price. Ooh, yeah. See how nice and dark that looks on the edges there? I love it. All right, I'm just going to do the one layer because we're saving time. And I think I'm going to use the sage greens because I know a lot of you guys got all of those this weekend. All right, wish me luck on this one. I'm rushing a little. Not too bad, though. Okay, I think that's going to do it. We're going to find out together. All right, medium orchid again. That's okay. We're glad you're here. It's a Thursday crafternoon. Very laid back crafternoon today. Ooh, I just want to do one where I just leave it like that too, because I love that speckling. Really want to do that. It's so pretty. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to get a blending stump for this little spot right here. Just take that blending stump and just fill that in. There we go. Okay, a little bit of dark orchid on the edge. Okay, here we go. All right. So I've got my orchids here. These colors are fantastic for layering stamps too. Like if you do the full blown layers, like some of our layering stamps, like our pop art flowers and some of those, you'll get gorgeous layers. I tested all of these using our layered eucalyptus stamp set, and it was amazing to see that layered eucalyptus in pinks and in purples. It was kind of fun. Okay, so now we're going to add the, got to do it right side up. Should I do it all at the same time as was suggested? I could try. All right, so I'm going to pick this one up first. And then we'll get this one on here. And again, if you're going to mass produce, I mean, we could have left all this on here and done it all at the same time when we did the first one, and it would have taken less time. Okay, so now let's go with the medium spruce. All right, everybody's got faith in me here. I appreciate the faith. So we're going with the medium spruce, and then we'll just do some dark spruce on the edges, because this is I'm gonna be able to match that string that I have, that baker's twine. Oh, that's a pretty color. It's a really nice green. Another layer. And these do dry up lighter. They're more vibrant. So when I take the pictures, you'll see that they'll be a lot brighter, because by the time I clean up the desk and I take the pictures, everything has a chance to lighten up. And once again, I'm going to use the back of where I did the jelly bean on here and just catch this little spot right there. Okay. I'm not going to be able to do anything with the centers of these because I'm using such a dark green. But if I used a lighter color, I could definitely do like jelly bean, a more yellow green. I could definitely do the yellow flowers in the center. All right, so here's my dark spruce. I don't know if you're even going to be able to see it right away. But we'll see. It's definitely a much darker color, because you've seen me do the like the different layering stencils with these, like the Poinsettia layering stencil I did with this color combination, and I used all three, and you could definitely see the difference. Oh yeah, you can see that. When it dries, you'll be able to see it. I think I'm going to do a little more. Should be over here, so you can see what I'm doing. It's coming up from the bottoms of these a little bit.
Question, Gina, can you color with Copic markers with your inks?
Yes. All of our dye inks and our amalgam inks work with Copic markers. And our amalgam ink works with watercolor too. All of our inks work with Gamsol. Everything but our pigment and our embossing and watermark ink. All right, so is the Poinsettia stamp only available in the bundle? We are going to be bringing that out as a separate item. I'm going to try to do it later today. I'll see if Sammy has time to add it, and then I'll make a little announcement in our Facebook group when it becomes available, because I know some of you want it. Okay, so I'm going to go back and use this template again. So let's tape this down. This one's not as perfect. And yes, I did see that comment about using stickles in the center instead of yellow marker. And that's a great idea. You could also probably use like a gel pen. Probably accent these. All right. So I've got that in place. I'm going to pop my die in there. Yep, I felt it go in. Hopefully this is going to cut in the right spot. Let's do it. So I've done the traditional red with this, and it looks spectacular. And I just did turquoise if you're just tuning in. And now I did the orchids. So that looks pretty good. Okay, I will not throw this die out. I'll just put it over there for now. And now we're going to do a little tag. So the tag dies I'm going to use here are our tag trio dies. Let's back out a little. There we go. So I'm going to use, you can see my mess growing. So we could do either a white tag and color it using that Festive. Let's do that. Using that Festive stencil. So I need a piece of white. It would also look very pretty on craft. I'm going to use a piece of white cardstock. And I'm going to cut this tag out. This has a nice little stitching too. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the comment on my nails. My daughter Rena is a stylist and she also does nails. And she did my nails last night for me. It was very fun. Super fun. Okay, so that is a beautiful tag. And I'm thinking we're just going to put this like right on the tag and let it hang off. It's not going to be pretty. And then we'll just add a to and from, but we've got to do that little bit of texturing first. So I'm going to, again, use the same stencil. I'm using all the same supplies for both projects. This way, you know, if you guys want to make them both, you're not going to need a different stencil for one or the other. More than one project. More bang for your buck, right? Okay, so I'm using the soft stone ink here, and I'm going to just hold this into place this time. And just add that in the center and work our way up a bit and down a bit. I have to move. I got to make sure everything stays in place. That's why, you know, if you like to tape, I totally get it. All right, here we go. That is a pretty look though, isn't it? That's going to be so pretty. And then we'll put the to and the from right there. It's just, I don't know. I love that just sweet little bit of texture that it provides. And you can see as it lightens up, this one is lightened up a lot. It's not intrusive at all. It's just a light texture. And you can do this with lots of stencils. I like using our brick stencil for this, our brick wall. I like using Harvest Flourish. Anything that has, you know, just a simple texture as opposed to, you know, a poinsettia or something like that. Okay, I'm going to put this up here. I think it'll be fine right there. Now, again, I'm going to lay this down here so I know where to put our to and from. And remember, when you do a to and from, don't put it too close to the edge. You got to leave room to write the names. So we'll just stick it right in there like that. Okay, and I'll pick that up. I have to look and make sure that, oh, that looks good. I can see on the grid on the Misty that it's straight. It's always tricky with these cursive style fonts, scripty style fonts. I'm showing my age when I say cursive. Hopefully most of you guys know you're with me on that. Okay, I'm going to use an ink cube for this because this is a tiny stamp. But sometimes it's hard to see when you have a scripty font like this, whether or not it's straight. And some of them it doesn't matter because they're so scripty, but this one I feel like it matters. But I love the font. And I'm just doing it 3 times so I don't squish the design. It keeps it nice and crisp.
Did you have penmanship in school?
Did I?
Yeah, when you were a kid?
No. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Penmanship.
Yeah. I was especially cursive during that activity.
That's pretty funny. All right. And then this is going to wrap around that like that. I'll zoom in here a little so you can see it better. There we go. So we're going to wrap around. Now, because I don't want the tape to extend over to this side because I want it to hang off the tag. So I'm going to do most of my taping right in here. And that will keep it together enough. And then we'll pop that right, wrap it right around there. And you can trim this off if you want, or you can just leave it. I think I'm going to leave it because, you know, you're going to hang this on something like cookies or, a bottle of wine or something. And so it doesn't really need to be cut off because it's going to be hanging. But I will add a couple little gems. Oh, I really should have closed this last night. Hold on, I got to pick, and then I'm trying to pick with nails that I don't know how to use. I have no idea how to use these nails. Okay, and we'll do the same sequin pattern here. Let's do a big one there, bigger one there. Okay, we'll do some babies. There's some little sequins here. Where did I put? There's a drop. And one more. Did I put one over here anywhere? I didn't. Maybe I did. Oh, no, I didn't. So we'll do another little one here. Let's get that into place. And then we'll do a bigger one, like a medium size one down here. I'm using the odd number rule. So you can see it's got all those pretty sequins. And then let's use this because it kind of is in the same green vein. And I'll show you once again how I like to tie. Probably don't need anywhere near this much. All right, so just take a nice piece of baker's twine or whatever kind of twine you want, fold it in half and then in half again. So you're going to have 4 strings. And then you're going to feed it through the hole from the back of the tag. And then open that loop up and feed the strings through there. Now we're going to tie a knot up high, up here, and this is going to allow it to hang on the bottle or whatever you're putting it on and lay flat against the bottle. Okay, so there we go, and we will cut that off. There we go. So there is the tag. All right, so we have the tag and we have the card that we made. Now, I feel like I've got more depth on this one because I went back and gave it more coats, not as much depth on this one. And if you don't like that, you can always cut that off if that bothers you. I think I'll cut it off. I know, don't do it. I'm doing it. Okay, there we go. This way it won't bend. I feel like, I could have bent it in the process. Now I'll take high quality pictures of these and you guys can see them all, but there we go. There's our finished cards and tags today. You guys like this set? I love it. It's called Perfect Poinsettia. And I will get Sammy this afternoon to put this and the die, the standalone die, in the on the website. So if you just wanted to buy this and you didn't want the whole kit, that's totally understandable. If you want the whole kit, it's got that beautiful poinsettia layering stencil. It's also got ephemera. It's just got everything. It's got all of this stuff in here. Beautiful pattern papers, sentiment strips, the 4-part layering stencil, and all this ephemera, and a blending brush. So it's a great value. If you want a great value, get the kit. But if you just are looking for the stamps and the dies, we'll get that onto the website later today.
Question,
all right. Yes.
Is the ephemera available separately?
It is. It should be on our site. And those pieces of ephemera are absolutely spectacular. I mean, they're big, they're bold. You can make beautiful tags with them. Easily put that on a tag as well. So yes, and it should be on the site now. All right, so let's give these away. So if you're new, the way you get entered into the drawing is all you have to do is make a comment at any point during the live, and Tom picks randomly from all of the comments. All right, Tom, so let's give this card away first.
All right, the card, drum roll. Cheesy drum roll. All right, the card goes to Vivian Arendt, Arend.
Congratulations, Vivian. Yay. All right. The pick and stick tool will be back in stock. They have shipped to us, so stay tuned for that. It is coming back in very soon. Okay, and this tag.
And the tag winner is Irma Ortiz.
Irma, congratulations. All right, ladies, all you have to do is send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get these out to you. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun today. I hope you guys had a good time. We certainly did. I'll be back over the weekend with another 5-minute card video, and then Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with a brand new Stampin' Chat Live. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.